Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new episode of Trash Talk on Heavy Gear 4th edition, a series where I talk about the various gears and vehicles you can pilot and drive around in the Heavy Gear universe. In this episode, let's talk about the North Gears, Part 2, and also the North Striders. Strider in Heavy Gear is a catch-all term used to designate non-humanoid weapon platforms that use legs for locomotion, named after the striding motion they made when moving. They are basically any mech in Heavy Gear that's far larger than a gear, usually, and the main reason why I decided to talk about them now is because most of them requires a high priority level to even get to, and also in Heavy Gear 1, you actually get to drive them eventually. They are kinda shit in the game though, you have to aim by turning the whole damn mech, but they are pretty cool and powerful when used in the right way in both Heavy Gear Blitz and RPG Book, so let's talk about them. Continuing off the previous episode, at priority level 5, you will get access to Dingo, Grizzly, Jaguar, Lion, and Nemesis Jaguar, which is kinda stupid because, you will know why soon. The Dingo is basically a mad dog but faster, packs more firepower, has brawler to be better at melee, and also can be thrown out of an airplane, still has linked MRP, but the linked machine guns are upgraded to heavy version, meaning even a hunter and most other gear will be wary of getting close, and up close, it can give the recipient a good dose of MSG, medium spike gun. Unlike the handheld Vibroblade, spike gun can be mounted on forearm, meaning the manipulator hand of that arm will be free, and potentially deal more AP damage, but you need to be more accurate with your attack because spike guns deal 1 less damage than Vibroblade. As for the Dingo variants, they are all the same, just different bigger gun, like heavy autocannon with underslung light grenade launcher, useful for when there's wall between you and the target, heavy bazooka for anti-tank, heavy rotary cannon to delete most things, and of course, the light field gun. Whereas the Bear is an outdated fire support that still works decently well, the Grizzly is what's still being used on the front line by the Northern Guard, the North Multinational Force. It not only has more firepower than the Bear, but it also has 8 armor, which due to how damage works in Heavy Gear, makes it quite immune to a lot of medium-class weapons unless the shooter rolls well. Besides the linked MRP, you really gonna see this a lot past this priority level. The base Grizzly variant also has a medium guided mortar for bigger indirect punch, heavy autocannon as usual, and 2 anti-infantry weapons, light submachine gun and heavy machine gun. With both the LSMG and light Vibroblade having the backup trait while also being the same size, you can effectively switch them out without spending an action for the situation that calls for it. But what really make Grizzly shines over the Bear isn't more firepower or more armor, it's this quick response system, which basically gives the pilot a free action point that can only be used for reaction fire. This basically lets the pilot perform 2 reaction shots per round, or use the base action point for whatever they want while still have 1 left for fire mission reaction. It just lets you do more, which is very good. With how prevalent the Grizzly is, it's no wonder it got made into all kind of variants, like anti-tank missile carrier variant, armored heavy snub cannon variant, mountainous terrain variant, anti-air laser cannon variant, heavy flamer fireproof variant, and then some, can also be upgraded with satellite uplink 2 for commander. The Jaguar is the true successor gear to the Hunter and it is essentially better in every way, even more so than the Tiger, except for its price. It's faster, tougher, easier to control, has slightly more firepower, airborne deployment capability, and also has early warning system to dodge even glancing blow. It is simply good at what it does while having a balance of speed and toughness, and unsurprisingly, this thing has almost as many variants as the Hunter, as well as satellite uplink upgrade for commander, ACCM upgrade to protect it from E-warfare, and some missile launcher upgrade or replacement. There's not much to talk about it, it's just good. It even has a laser cannon variant, for basically infinite 8 base damage shots out to 360 meters, as long as the engine can power it, an extra free slot on its shoulder, so you can actually mount an additional rocket pack, as one of its variants demonstrated. The Lion is a heavy strike gear. Its speed is average but it has 7 armor and is also tough as hell with 8 hull integrity. You probably think its weapon list is rather light for a heavy gear, having only a heavy class handheld, medium artillery rocket that can indirect bombard target from 360 meters away, and a light APGL, but down here, it actually has linked MSG as well as Brawler 2 for impressive melee capability, as well as climbing gear so it can rain hellfire onto anyone below. It can also be further upgraded to have better gunnery, comm suite and satellite uplink, which is kinda redundant since satellite uplink has comm suite already. There's mistake like this throughout the book, ACCM suite upgrade, or just exchange the climbing gear for linked MRP for more firepower. It also actually has a free hand with 3 space, so you could potentially grab 2 big guns with this gear for a lot of firepower. The best Lion variant is probably the one with medium particle accelerator. Particle accelerator is kinda like laser cannon but half the range, but also has the haywire effect, which can haywire the target and make them do worse at stuff. This doesn't sound too bad, until you realize you can shoot a hover tank with a 3-man crew, and suddenly everyone on board is now doing worse. This has a dramatic effect in Heavy Gear Blitz, and it will have an impact here in 4E2. Couple with how Lion can climb up building for a better shot, and you got one hell of a medium particle accelerator carrier. And finally, Nemesis Jaguar is Jaguar but made for highly skilled duelist and is better in a lot of ways, which is kinda dumb. I thought something like this would be at priority level 6 or something, but no, it has a 5, on the same row as the regular Jaguar. Anyway, let me tell you why this shit is busted. The Nemesis Jaguar is similar to regular Jaguar in a lot of way, except it is faster and also has no anti-infantry capability. It also has 2 melee weapon for both its variants. Other than that, it also has an addition of Brawler 1, reinforced cockpit so the crew won't take damage result, and an advanced control system, an extremely useful system that grants the pilot +1 action point that can be used in anything. Do you know that you can only get advanced control system on its own at priority level A? To say the very least, the Nemesis Jaguar is very lethal in the right hand, while also keeping its crew somewhat safe. Its only drawback really, compared to the regular Jaguar, is that it won't have as much ranged firepower, and also it's rare, so you gonna have a hard time repairing and maintaining it, and you will be maintaining it frequently. It's a hangar queen. I fully recommend you to only give this as a reward to the player, or use the optional rarity rule to make them roll for it. Also at priority level 5, you get access to the Goliath, a massive transport plane that can carry either 175 infantry, 8 gears, or 3 vehicles, for when you need to drop a massive party past the border. At priority level 6, there's Koala, Paracheetah, and Razorback. Koala is basically a near identical copy of Dingo, except you can finally make it into a commander variant with ECCM, and also has a slight upgrade with some of its weaponry like a precise heavy autocannon so you can burst with precise straight, and also an amply named Killer Koala variant with a lot of fire weapons. Paracheetah is, as its name implied, a paratrooper version of the Cheetah to bring in e-warfare capability in special force operation. This does reduce its firepower even more, but it's not like you will be using them much in a Cheetah anyway. And Razorback is another heavy gear here to carry big gun and 8 armor to take hit and deal damage back. However, it feels like it's just being Grizzly but worse here, which makes sense in Heavy Gear Blitz because it is cheaper than a Grizzly to take, and it also carry a medium snub cannon while Grizzly don't even get one, which is its primary selling point. But over at 4E, the Assault Grizzly having a heavy snub cannon kinda makes the Razorback redundant. It's still good, and it has an upgrade that turns a medium rocket pod to a light artillery rocket, but it's just kinda there, I guess. At priority level 7, we finally get to see the first of the North Strider, the Mammoth, and also the Weasel. Let's get the Weasel out of the way first. It's basically a ferret except it's even better at e-warfare with +2 on that, as well as having one of its variants packing prototype sensor, which means it can jam target all the way from 72 hexes away in blitz mode and have an extra dice on top of that. You could basically stand on one side of the map and hack someone on the other end of it. However, you do not want to get shot in this thing at all, as it only has 4 armor and no piloting bonus, while it automatically has better ranged protection with advanced ECM. It has 8 speed too for a reason. Use it. And now, the Mammoth is an absolute unit that's for sure, with 11 armor, almost comparable to Aller, the North signature heavy tank. The Mammoth is practically immune to most weaponry that do not have AP damage. That doesn't mean it's invincible, however, as it can't dodge well with its poor piloting stat and enough rocket will tear it apart. It is also quite slow, not because of its speed, but because it's also lumbering. This thing can't move fast. However, it is still very tough, and have a boatload of firepower and support system to weather the odd. Taking a look at its base variant, it has 2 auto medium machine guns for anti-infantry purpose, which can be upgraded to a heavy APGL, an auto light rotary cannon to deal with light gear, and then there's its real firepower within its arm, a heavy snub cannon and a medium ATM launcher. Also, unlike other vehicle types, Strider can perform melee attacks, which means they aren't super vulnerable in close quarter combat against Gears or other Striders. It also has a quick response system for free reaction fire, and a target designator managed by the driver to designate target for allies, and no, as rule intended, the Mammoth cannot spot target for itself, but considering it has 2 crews, I would allow players to spot for themselves, but that's home rule and not actual rule, which would also be very useful when we eventually talk about the South's primary Strider. The rest of its variant followed almost the same trend, usually switching out the arms for different heavy weapons, most of which are extremely lethal at short range, or go for the more exclusive variant, like the Damocles, which turns the Mammoth into an artillery platform with a heavy artillery gun, with 2 light pulse laser and anti-missile system for deterrent and defense. Or a Mastodon, which has a ridiculous amount of guns. There's even a command version of the Mammoth, just to keep the commander safer, and as if that's not enough firepower, you can add 2 medium artillery rocket to bomb the hell out of things, which you will probably need because the Mammoth is slow as hell. Also, due to how skill works, you will probably need a new piloting or gunnery skill to use the Mammoth, depending if you choose to be the pilot or driver, because it's a Strider and not a gear. Easiest way to get ready for this early on is to write in your skill as for North vehicle only. This obviously don't let you drive anything outside of North Arsenal well, but the opposite would be true. At priority level 8, there's the Panther and Thunderhammer. The Panther is a special force stealth gear. It's fast with 7 armor, good performance, and has 2 variant, either with a silenced medium autocannon or silenced heavy rifle with bipod, and yes, Heavy Gear Universe figured out how to make a 40mm cannon quieter. It's the 60th century after all. Other than that, it also has early warning system, airborne deployment capability, target designator to observe target for fire support with recon sensor to boost the range, and is also a pain to maintain, obviously. As a reminder, with the stealth system, enemy basically have sensor range against Panther, meaning they won't be able to forward observe or hack the Panther until it is within half their sensor range, a massive advantage to say the least. Combine that with the Scout archetype, and the Panther can really take hit and run to the next level. The Thunderhammer is another 2-crew North Strider, this time an artillery platform. It's faster than the Mammoth, but only in the technically sense as it lacks a secondary motive system. Its armor is just as tough, but its internal is less so. As for its armament, for its base variant, it has forward-facing medium rotary, medium anti-personnel rocket pack, as well as a heavy APGL to deal with gears or infantry, and on its center is a turreted heavy field gun, meaning it can fire in any direction, and with stabilizer, that field gun will get another dice to roll with, making it hit more accurately and harder, and with 11 base damage, this cannon will definitely hit very hard. The rest of the variant basically switch out the turreted gun for other big guns, like heavy railgun, 2 heavy guided mortar, which doesn't quite work as well with the 4E action system, linked heavy rotary cannon with flak trait, and 2 heavy ATM. It hits hard at decent range for sure compared to the Mammoth, for most of its variant. All these variants can also be upgraded to be capable of transporting infantry, basically carrying its own escorts, and there's also a recovery variant with less firepower but has a repair array, making it capable of repairing severe damage on field, while still being a hard target. There's actually Terra Novan gears designed for repair work too available much earlier, but they are all kinda the same really, so I'm not gonna talk about them much. Finally, at priority level 9, you get Black Cat, Kodiak, and Scimitar. The Black Cat is the North's most advanced stealthy warfare gear, packing an elite sensor for even more range to hack or spot for fire support. It's very fast at speed 9, but it's a bit on the fragile side, but you probably won't get shot at as long as you keep the distance, which will also prevent you from getting bombarded or hacked due to stealth kit. The Kodiak is a monster of a gear for the North, a 10-ton heavy assault gear designed to counter CEF light hover tank, and it showed. It's not fast, but it's tough with 9 armor, a damage threshold level that makes it immune to glancing blow from most non-AP weapons. It also has a good fire control system, making it better at shooting all the weapons it has, and it is also intimidating as hell, very useful in getting people to do what you want fast. Its base variant has a medium particle accelerator, good for shutting down heavy vehicle, along with light ATM with precise trait, which effectively gives it +1 damage. It also has medium vibroblade and medium rocket pack in case those two aren't enough, as well as linked heavy MG for deterrent against light gear and infantry. The rest of its variants switched out for different big gun or different weapon set, like the North Star Kodiak having a Reach 3 heavy vibroblade and Kodiak Metal having a heavy revisionist staff, perfect for beating up anything that gets too close. Best of all, the Kodiak also has an advanced control system, so this thing not only has heavy firepower, but can also just plain use them better. It is one hell of a monster for sure. Finally, there's the Scimitar. If you are wondering why Scimitar looks so different compared to the Mammoth and Thunderhammer, because this thing looks straight up like a battle mech, blame this guy. At 10 armor, the Scimitar is tough, but also not as tough as its 2-man crew wants, but it's actually fast. in term of the fact that it has no lumbering trait, and has good gunnery stat. The Scimitar also has two system the other North Strider do not have. It has advanced control system to do more stuff better, and climbing gear, meaning this entire thing can climb straight up a building and shoot anyone down below. It's pretty damn lethal. For its weapons, on one hand, it has an Apex heavy gun, whether that's snub cannon, grenade launcher, or pulse laser, and on the other, a heavy vibroblade stick that can reach far. Other than that, it has linked medium spike gun, medium APGL, and a turret on top with light ATM and light rotary cannon, plenty of firepower for both heavy and light target in any direction. The ATM could even be exchanged for linked medium rotary laser, which is kinda like laser cannon but with burst and short range, very good at tearing lightly armored things apart, especially with two of them, or just a bigger version. There's also command upgrade variant because of course there's gonna be a commander that wants to sit in bigger thing. Unlike the Mammoth and Thunderhammer, the Scimitar can threaten a bigger portion of the map despite its lack of long-range weapon due to its speed, and with a big melee stick that can deal a lot of damage, there's an incentive to drive closer and hit people with it. And that is basically everything you need to know about the North Gears and Striders and some of the support elements for them. Am I ever going to talk about the rest of the North Arsenal? Probably not. Anyway, that's all for now and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some Ko-fi, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.